Previously on Justin's YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk about Marco Bucci. 3 years ago, he put out this post that he was doing a mentorship. I got in after graduating. I actually got to work with Marco. Since I have started YouTubing, I went ahead and messaged him and said, hey, I'm doing this. I was wondering if you'd be interested in collaborating, if I could take this final piece that I did in your class and take the knowledge I've learned since your class, improve it, and get a critique video from you that I could put on YouTube. And Marco said yes. So with that, let's get illustrating. Yeah, guys, I think we have a thumbnail. All right, that is it for this episode. We've got a thumbnail. We're ready to move forward. So we've got this thumbnail. What we're gonna do today, clean it up, take it to the sketching phase, and maybe do a little bit of character design, and hopefully have something that we can start to color. Maybe get some values in there, figure out our value structure would be great. So without further ado, let's start sketching. A challenging little illustration I gave myself. Woo! I think I need to heat up my coffee, get back to it. All right, I'm feeling good about this. We've got a nice 1-point perspective, but I've added a little bit of a fisheye lens, which I think is going to be a really cool element. With our sketch on top, let's actually get some sketching done. To be clear that he's got these backpack straps on so that it's this is the leash, and that little leash end is gonna act like a tail. Alright, we've gotten to that point of the evening where the coffee's no longer working, so I'm gonna go to bed and I will be back soon. Alright, I am back after a wonderful night's rest and another day. It's the night session, the nighttime time to I'm so tired. I've got my tea with me tonight. So where I left you guys off, we were working through this illustration here. Since I left, I tried to get these pugs in here, but they're not quite working. They were off the top of my noggin, but yeah, didn't turn out great. So I went home and I started thinking through what I needed to do to bring this drawing together before we actually paint it. And we need a crowd of people that isn't distracting. And I thought, who better to mimic than Craig Mullins? Of course, he does amazing crowds, amazing paintings in general. So I was looking at the way that he groups things together, grabbed a couple of references. That's why I have my computer here, is I'm going to have some Craig Mullins, I want to say mulligans, some Craig Mullins painting as I start to design the crowd out. I also was thinking, where do I see a good pug design that fits in this world? I've got a really fun style here with this kid that I'm excited about. I think of this style as leaning towards like a Captain Crunch illustration. And I was thinking, where do we see a pug that fits in that world? Because the pug I have here is ugly and just different stylistically. It's not a bad pug, but it's just not the style we're going for. It's not that Captain Crunchy energy. So where do we see a good pug design? Well, Disney's Pocahontas. So I've got a couple of references of that pug. He's cutesy and dressed up and is actually a very similar character to these two pugs that we have here. So I'm going to mess around with those designs, start thinking through my crowd, start designing out these buildings and stuff. I also had an epiphany that this should be a distilled day. We should have a really dense fog coming from the top of the canvas that should go straight down, and that's going to let some of the primary colors that are going to be the kids' clothes. You know, kids have these really bright colored clothes. We've talked about this kid in the front having galoshes on, some bright yellow boots are just going to look awesome. Plus, we've talked about this being in Seattle. That's Seattle weather. We could possibly have some puddles on the ground, giving us some cool reflections, and just making this really interesting color-wise. Now, I always want to jump right into color. That's my thing. I love color, but I think the more time I spend on this, the hard part for me, which is this sketch, the more professional this is going to be. So, without further ado, we got to get to it. Let's start drawing. After a sip of tea, of course. All right, where's my glove? So this is taking a long time, but as much as this is me trying to get a fun video out and get a good reaction from Marco and all that, I have this deep gut feeling that anybody can put together a perfect illustration if they put the time in. And that is what this project is about. It's about putting the time in. And it takes a long time, and there's corners you wish you could cut. You know, I just want to jump into color. The drawing doesn't really matter that much as long as I've got the composition right. All of these things we can tell ourselves. But at the end of the day, everything is a ball, or it's a box, or it's a tube. And if I don't get that tube right, if I don't get that box right, it's going to look amateur, and it's not going to be the best version of this illustration that it could be. So, yeah, we're 2 sessions in, and I still don't have a finished sketch. But hey, I'll be back again, and we're going to get a really good sketch in. We're going to figure out the crowd and the buildings in the background, and hopefully get like a really roughed in, blocked out value structure. So I'll see you in like 2 seconds, but it will be actually like 2 days for me. So I'll see you soon. Since I last saw you, I have attracted some kind of cold virus. Real quick, if you've made it this far into the video, please do subscribe. There's going to be probably 2 more parts to this. You know, I actually have to color this illustration. And then Marco will be replying to it and giving his feedback. So that should be part 4. So like and subscribe. There's lots of really cool things coming. I actually just wrapped up an illustration project that I'm hoping I get to share with you guys sometime soon, but it all depends on publishing and when things are public. There's going to be a lot more, I'm hoping, of this kind of illustration. So yeah, look forward to that. Subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's start working on this crowd. I don't know if I'm running a low-grade fever or what, but I just got super hot. Nothing like taking your clothes off to get YouTube views. All right, let's start working on this crowd. I think we can turn this cat's face really profile, which will be fun. I should probably not sneeze with my tea that close to the computer. What I was saying was we could turn this cat's head very profile, which will be cool because then we'll have between these 3 animals, we'll have a kind of a 90-degree angle where we're seeing the portrait of the cat. We've got this 3/4 here, and then we've got the 3/4 turned the other way, which is just really good motion. So let's do it. I do not know what is going on right now, but I can't like zoom well. My pen is going all over the place. The elements are against me right now. I can't even, well, now that I'm talking about it, it's working. But yeah, it's like getting all glitchy on me. Maybe I should just restart my iPad here for a second. Give it a minute. Whales. Comment below what's your favorite cheddar cheese cracker snack. You have to have a cheddar cheese cracker snack. Personally, I'm a goldfish guy. But when you're balling on a budget, And you need a cheddar cheese cracker snack. Whales do the trick. Maybe if you subscribed, you know, I could make enough money that I could actually buy goldfish and not whales. Just think about it. My iPad is back on. I've had a snack. My tea is hot. Let's just keep going at this crowd. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that crowd. Feels like it's pushed off in the background. We're gonna be able to play with some atmospheric perspective, which should be fun. Let's see what we can do about this construction a little bit. Not construction, architecture a little bit. And then we'll get a little bit of a value study in here real quick. All right, feeling good about this sketch. Let's kick it. Let's get a quick value study in here. Call it a day. Awesome. Okay. Well, there is our sketch. And now we get to do the fun part. We're going to add some local color here and start actually building out what the color scene is here, and then start rendering it out, which this sketch took longer than I thought it would. And the color for this is going to be pretty intense. There's a lot going on. Which is why it was important that we got this value structure down first. So yeah, we get to add color now. I am gonna do a really distilled light situation. So it's gonna be fun. Stay tuned. Episode 3, part 3, whatever you wanna call it, coming soon. And then Marco Bucci will be giving us our critique on this. So let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on this. Before we jump into color. Hopefully I don't have a cold next time we talk. I'll see you next time.